Hey all you music lovers, Haley here, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of music history on the song Londonderry Air, or more popularly known as Danny Boy. This is a very beautiful, very haunting piece, and it's one that I've played since I was a little girl. So we're going to get into a little bit of history with this. I'm going to play you my rendition, so let's get started. So, this tune is an old air that originated from the county of Londonderry in Ireland. It was collected by Jane Ross of Limavady in the year of 1851. So the story goes is that Jane Ross was traveling and she heard a fiddler playing this tune, and she asked if she could notate it. And in the process, she never did get the name of the fiddler. There was a blind fiddler by the name of Jimmy McCurry, and his descendants seem to think that he might have been the one to play the song for her. So anyway, she then submitted this piece to George Petrie, and he helped edit a book and put together some of these old Irish tunes, which was published in 1855, and the book was called The Ancient Music of Ireland, which was actually arranged for piano. But in her submission, she never actually gave the name of a composer either. Big surprise, right? So it was listed as anonymous in the book, but had a tag attributing the findings to Jane Ross. So let me read this excerpt from you because I think it's kind of cool. For the following beautiful air, I have to express my very grateful acknowledgement to Miss J. Ross of Newtown, Limavady, in the county of Londonderry, a lady who has made a large collection of the popular, unpublished melodies of the county, which she has very kindly placed at my disposal, and which has added very considerably to the stock of tunes which I had previously acquired from that still very Irish county. I say still very Irish, for though it had been planted for more than 2 centuries by English and Scottish settlers, the old Irish race still forms the great majority of its peasant inhabitants. And there are few, if any, counties in which, with less foreign admixture, the ancient melodies of the country have been so extensively preserved. The name of the tune, unfortunately, was not ascertained by Miss Ross, who sent it to me with the simple remark that it was very old. In the correctness of which statement I have no hesitation in expressing my perfect concurrence. Also, this tune is most likely a lot older than we know. There was an article written in 1934 by Anne Geddes Gilchrist, I think that's how you say her name, that there could have been actually a mix-up in the notation itself. If the fiddler was playing with a lot of rubato, she could have felt that the song was actually in 4/4 when it might have been meant to be played in 3/4, which would have been more typical for the Irish music setting. But there was also another article written in 1979 by Hugh Shields, who showed some similarities for Londonderry Air to another tune called A Young Man's Dream, which was published in 1796. So although it's very similar, he pointed out that this A Young Man's Dream had a 3/4 time signature, not the 4/4 time signature that we've come to know from Londonderry Air. So, Danny Boy was actually the lyrics set to the tune of Londonderry Air. They were written by Frederick Weatherly, who was a British lawyer, and that was in 1910. He had the tune originally set to some different music, but his sister-in-law from the US in 1911 tipped him off about this anonymous air, and he really liked it, so he changed the lyrics just a little bit, and voila, a masterpiece was born. So in 1913, that piece was published. So Danny Boy was first recorded in 1915 by Ernestine Schumann Hank, I'm not sure about that name, which inspired over 200 different artists to record their own version of that tune. And by 1923, there were over 80 different lyrics written to the tune of Londonderry Air. It was also very popular when the war first broke out and the British troops were in France. Guarantee it became popular because it was now recorded and more people could hear it, not just stuck in that little area. In the 1940s, Danny Boy had found its way into Hollywood films. 1946, there was a romantic comedy called Because of Him, which featured that song. That same year, there was also another movie about a war service dog named Danny Boy, which featured that song as well. This song has been covered by so many different artists, such as Bing Crosby, the Glenn Miller Band, Charlotte Church, Glenn Campbell, Cher, Willie Nelson, and even Eric Clapton have all done some different versions, and numerous others that I'm not even going to go into. It's also been widely used for funerals. So Elvis Presley had this song played at his funeral. And let's see, they played it at Princess Diana's funeral as well as JFK's. All of this to say, we still have no idea who actually wrote Londonderry Air. But we do know that it's probably a lot older than we think because of tunes being passed down orally back in the day. So, it's a very beautiful piece, so whoever wrote it, we thank you. And without further ado, let me play for you my rendition of Londonderry Air on my trusty fiddle, Sammy. Alright, you guys, I hope you enjoyed my rendition of Londonderry Air, or better known as Danny Boy. Please subscribe to my channel and like this video. Also, you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Thanks, guys. See you next week.